I'm Nathan Smith. I'm an associate curator in the Dinosaur Institute at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. I'm here to talk to you about every dinosaur that you can find in the Jurassic Park films.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Brachiosaurus was a member of the sauropod group, so these are the huge long-necked plant eaters. Brachiosaurus was one of the animals with longer forelimbs and a vertically held neck that it probably used for high browsing. So in the first Jurassic Park movie, you see it up there in the tops of the trees sneezing on the kids. Parasaurolophus is one of the crested duck-billed dinosaurs. They have kind of a elongate crest on their head. Some of these might have been used for vocalization or also display characteristics for kind of recognizing their own species or for sexual display. They also had a really amazing battery of teeth that helped them grind up plant material. So Velociraptor is probably the most famous dinosaur from Jurassic Park. In real life, Velociraptor was a much smaller animal, probably about the size of a really big turkey. One of the most interesting things about it is that we know this animal and the group it belongs to were very close relatives of birds. And we actually have evidence now that came out since the first film that Velociraptor probably was at least partially covered in feathers. There are actually bony quill knobs that are present on its forearm. Velociraptor was kind of a fleet-footed, fast animal, possibly more intelligent than some other dinosaurs. I'm not sure if they were really as hyper-intelligent as they're portrayed in the film, but there's got to be a little artistic license with that. Triceratops is another iconic dinosaur known from the late Cretaceous, so the Hell Creek Formation. You know, 3 very large horns and the frill on the back. This is an animal that lived alongside Tyrannosaurus and is often depicted with Tyrannosaurus, and it plays a big role in the early Jurassic Park films as well. It's actually an animal that gets sick because of the plant life that's been reproduced alongside the dinosaurs in the first film. Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the most popular dinosaurs of all time, one of the greats of the Jurassic Park film franchise. T-Rex is always kind of portrayed as the top dinosaur because for the longest time it was the largest predatory dinosaur that we knew of. Recent discoveries, kind of only in the past 15 or 20 years, have shown that there are several other species of large carnivorous dinosaur that are now vying for that title. So it's possible that Tyrannosaurus has been dethroned as the largest carnivore. So there's a big point made in the first film that T-Rex had relatively poor vision. And there is some evidence that its other senses might have been a little more well-developed, its sense of smell, for instance, but I find it a little unlikely that T-Rex would have been unable to see some of the humans standing right in front of it. So in the second Jurassic Park film, T-Rex actually gets loose, I think in San Diego, and is running around downtown and then the suburbs. Again, I think this is an animal that probably would have been more confused than anything else, and probably would have been not quite on a rampage, but just trying to get out of there and away from everybody. Dilophosaurus also plays an iconic role in Jurassic Park. This is the animal that takes out Nedry in one of the Jurassic Park jeeps during the rainstorm. Now, there is a little bit of artistic license used for the portrayal of Dilophosaurus because it probably did not have that large frill, and there's also no evidence that it actually spat poison. However, in reality, some of the specimens we have of Dilophosaurus were much larger than the animal that's portrayed in Jurassic Park. So this is a rare instance where the real thing might have been even bigger and scarier. It probably would have likely attacked without first alerting someone like Nedry to its presence, without using a frill and without using poison, just the old-fashioned coming right at him with the teeth. So Gallimimus is an animal that is known from one of the most famous scenes of Jurassic Park, where they're actually herding through an open field and coming right after the protagonist, Alan Grant, and the kids. And we learn shortly after that they're actually fleeing from a very hungry T-Rex. These are probably correctly portrayed as being some of the speediest animals that were around during the late Cretaceous. Procompsognathus is another animal that plays a big role in Jurassic Park, but it's a little better described in the actual book series. So this is an animal that's a very small, carnivorous or predatory dinosaur that is, because of its size, maybe a little unassuming, but actually plays a major role both in the beginning of the movie and at the end in some of the folks that it takes out. We don't actually have direct evidence of kind of social behavior or this kind of gregariousness for Procompsognathus, but we do have some evidence of mass death assemblages of the same species of dinosaur that suggested these animals might have hung out kind of in large groups. Stegosaurus, another iconic dinosaur, one of people's favorites. This is kind of the armor-plated dinosaur with a big series of spikes on the back of its tail. That tail probably was very much a defensive weapon for Stegosaurus, and certainly it probably would have used it to protect itself or to protect its offspring. One interesting fact about Stegosaurus is that we still don't really have a good handle on what those plates were used for. Pachycephalosaurus, another iconic dinosaur from Jurassic Park, and this is a member of the group, the Pachycephalosaurs, that have the big domed heads that often get portrayed in popular media as being used for headbutting each other, or in Jurassic Park for headbutting those rangers that are trying to corral it, or even ramming into the side of a Jeep door. Ceratosaurus is an animal that's not quite as well known. It actually gets its name from a horn that it has right on the tip of the snout. So it is a carnivorous dinosaur, a member of the theropod group. One interesting thing about Ceratosaurus is that it represents an evolutionary lineage that's going to kind of branch off and be a little bit separate from most of the other carnivorous dinosaurs that we see in the Jurassic Park films.